alerting police of the suspicions about one of the accused anyway. Even so, I think the Muslim community is understandably a little wary of a backlash. Ihsaan Gardee is Executive Director for the Canadian Council of American Islamic Relations. He joins me live here in the studio. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You know, these are such uncertain and jittery times. Are you worried that somehow that this is going to cause you a bit of a backlash as the Muslim community in general? What can you do about it?
Right. Well, I mean, before I get to that, I just want to say that, the Canadian Muslims would like to praise law enforcement authorities for taking the actions necessary to thwart these attacks.
And you're an imam actually gave a key tip, apparently, as
reported. Exactly. And, Canadian Muslims will have and will continue to denounce this and any other alleged plots by individuals who will take our faith and distort it or pervert it for their own political goals or personal agendas. As far as a backlash goes on, Canadian Muslims want to feel safe in our country, and at the same time, there is this concern, and some have raised it, but we have a lot of confidence that our fellow Canadians will see this for what it is, the acts of individuals with, criminal intent to do harm to others, and they don't really reflect the broader Muslim community.
One thing Mr. Blitzer brought up, and I thought was a good point, that the community has to be wary and alert to this and plugged in, and they're going to be the first line of defense on this thing. And I'm curious, like, as you know, this was freaking people out a little bit because they're going, hey, these are innocuous men. They come from high academic circles in one case. How could they possibly fall under this sway, and who couldn't have noticed it when it was happening? How do you think the community should react? Particularly the Muslim community, I mean. Well,
I mean, the Canadian Muslim community obviously was, as you said, was integral in thwarting this plot. There was an imam who made the initial tip, and we think it's important to highlight that. And authorities themselves have stated that without this involvement, they may not have been able to make this announcement yesterday. And I think this demonstrates that Canadian Muslims see themselves as part and parcel of the society, and they see their fate tied to that of their fellow citizens. And we are heartened. I have to say, I was sitting and watching in your green room to hear that message as well repeated by our political leaders, including the Prime Minister earlier today. At the same time, we reiterate our call to all Canadians to report any knowledge that they have of any criminal activities to the authorities. We have full confidence in our justice system that these individuals will be accorded due process, and we understand at the same time the difficult balancing act that security agencies have in ensuring they have the necessary security tools with our cherished civil liberties.
Do you hear a lot about this in the community, that the youth particularly feel a little alienated in this culture, and they turn to the internet and they can seem to find welcome mats rolled out in the most evil of places, and that's kind of a siren call to them in a way? How do you reach that youth that's sitting in a dark room with a computer as a friend, as opposed to not having any friends to sort of go to the club with?
Right. Well, I mean, this is an important point. Community engagement and the fact that terrorism affects all of us, Don, and it doesn't discriminate, emphasizes the point that we all need to be a part of the solution at the political level, academic, educational, and community leaders. Just a couple of weeks ago in Ottawa, there was an enormous conference called the iLead Conference, specifically targeting youth. And there was one session there that they expressly discussed this idea of radicalization and extremist violence. This is something that the Muslim community wishes we could just wave a magic wand and it would go away, but unfortunately that's just not going to happen. It's what studies have shown, including one by a think tank in the UK called Demos, and the study is called The Edge of Violence, is that religiosity should not be conflated with or confused with the propensity to commit criminal actions. And in fact, religious individuals can play a key role in thwarting these types of attacks by educating those who might be getting their information from sources with no understanding, using a cut and paste approach to the faith.
Gotcha. Good point. Thank you.